Mayor Adams, a lot of people don't know this, and Dr. Sharpton tells this story all the time. In fact, he's going to be preaching here tomorrow for Men's Day. He was one of the original persons that signed the incorporated papers for the National Action Network. When no one else would sign, Reverend Sharpton said Mayor Adams came to him and said, "I'll sign." And at that time, he was a policeman. Come on, at that time, he was a policeman in the city of New York. And Mayor Adams, you've talked about being a diabetic, talked about how you started to prepare your own foods, came up with your own recipes, all of that right there. And the reason we invited the mayor is because we wanted you all to know he's a brother just like us. He's had his challenges with his health just like us, right? He's had that high blood pressure. He's had that diabetes. He's had all of that. So don't think you're unique. You see men in powerful positions, they're on their own health journey. And right now, I have to give it to him. He is doing a dynamic job in New York City, standing tall and representing us so well. And he counted it not robbery to be with us today. It's not every day you're going to get the mayor of New York City to come over to Newark, New Jersey. Certainly not Rudy Giuliani when he was around. I'm sorry. I'm at his own thing right now. I ain't not going to pass. Listen, I want you to put your hands together. Let's welcome the mayor of New York City, none other than Mayor, come on, Eric Adams. Come on, you all. Come on. We love you, man. We love you. Yeah, come on. You all remain standing. I was seated next to the mayor at Reverend Sharpton's thing, and we were coming off the stage, and I said, "Man, I need to have you over into Newark." He stopped right then, and he said, "Hey, give him my personal number. Give him my personal cell number. Give Dr. Jefferson my personal cell number." I got the number. How many folks would have done that? They would have pointed you off to somebody else, not this brother right here. Amen? Thank you for coming today. Here you go.
Thank you so much, Pastor. Please be seated. You don't stand for me. I stand for you. I'm your soldier, and you have an awesome mayor. Man, I just love this brother. I knew his dad, and many people slept on when he got elected. I remember people just saying, "Oh man, he's gonna come with this, Mau stuff and what have you." Brother came in and showed his talents and reverse. You can be a nationalist in philosophy and understand you're running the complexities of cities. They go together, and you just don't know the jewels you've had as the mayor, brother. You just did your thing on so many layers, and appreciate you so much for what you're doing. January 1st, 2022, I became the mayor of the city of New York. New York had a 40% increase in crime. We were dealing with what many of us have forgotten. COVID was everywhere. No one wanted to be on our subway system. Our children were not learning at the capacity that they deserve. Independent financial experts, they rate your city based on bonds to determine how successful you are. We had a low bond rating. Jobs were not coming to the city. We were not building affordable housing. Guns were everywhere. Three-wheel scooters was running the street, running rampant. I mean, the place was a mess. And I got elected as the mayor January 1st, 2022, and this has often happened. Mayor Roz would tell us that they turn it over to mayors of color when it's in a total disarray, and they give the appearance that we inherited a mess. 2 years later, they told me it was going to take 5 years to turn around the economy. 2 years in office. Our children are outpacing the state in reading and math. We're teaching our children breathing exercises, mindfulness, meditation inside the schools. We're changing the food that they're eating inside the schools so we don't feed the healthcare crises that the food that's being fed to our children. We have, in 1 year, we paid for the highest number of affordable housing in the history of the city in 1 year. In 1 year, we transitioned more people out of homelessness into permanent housing in the history of the city. Double-digit decrease in shooting, double-digit decrease in homicides, 15,000 guns removed off our streets. 5 of the 7 major crime categories down. We went to justice-involved young people and put them on a pathway to employment. We invested into our foster care children. 600 to 700 would age out every year, and we knew what was going to happen to them every year. We knew they were going to slip into homelessness, victims of crime, participate in crime. We went to our foster care children and we said, we're going to pay your college tuition, we're going to give you a stipend, and then we're going to allow you to have life coaches until you're 21 years old so that you could be on a pathway. They are enrolling now in college at a rate that no one thought was possible to do. And we turned around the economy. They said 5 years, 2 years, turned around the economy. We have more jobs in the city of New York in the history of the city of New York. More small businesses opening under my administration in the history of the city. Independent bond raters, they said, look what this guy is doing in this city. They raised my bond rating. Not only did I deal with one crisis of COVID, I had to deal with 200,000 migrants and asylum seekers that came into my city without any federal support. And folks would step to me on the street and say, Eric, what are you doing to our city? You're destroying our city by allowing anyone coming in and giving away the services. Let's deal with the facts. I can't stop the buses from coming in. Federal government said you're not allowed to do so, Eric. I'm required by law to give people 3 meals a day, a place to sleep, clean their houses, educate 38,000 children that came in with them. And check this out. I can't even allow them to work. Federal government said you can't allow them to work. And if you have them volunteer and give them a stipend, we're coming after you. So I have thousands of people in my city that want to work, that can't work, and I have to take care of them for as long as they want according to the rules of the city and the feds. But what happened? People who are uninformed, they look at the mayor. Karaz would tell you, no matter what happened in the city, you may not know who the senator is, the congressperson is, who the president is, but you know what? You know the mayor. You know the mayor, no matter what happens. Brother stopped me the other day, man. He said, man, I'm getting divorced, man. It's your fault. Everybody knows the mayor. But the goal is when you do an analysis of the city and where we were and where we are, the largest city in America, the most important city in the country, if not to globe. National leaders that come here to this region, they stop in and say, we want to meet the mayor of the city of New York. The symbolism of that is so significant and important because if I can run the most complex city on the globe, then you can run all of the corporate entities. This is a symbolic as well as a substantive issue. But why is this important? Because I'm an urban mayor. People wouldn't have an issue if I didn't represent the urban aspect of being a mayor. I didn't, folks, I'm perfectly imperfect. I am so imperfect that it will baffle your mind. I didn't go to Harvard and Yale. Brothers, I went to jail. Listen, I was dyslexic. I'm dyslexic. I walked into the classroom every day, and they would have on the back of the chair as a child the dumb student. I would get up every morning and pray, God, don't let me read. Because if I read throughout the entire day, they would mimic me reading and laugh in the cafeteria, in the gym, and say, let's act like we're Eric trying to read. I don't look down on anyone because I purchased a nickel bag and make 8 joints so that I can help mommy pay the rent and put food on the table. My brother and I were arrested at 15 years old, and we were beat by police officers. And I still think my brother had mental health issues because of that. And I lost him this year. When I buried him, I remember what he and I went through. And they said, leave him. He would never be anything. When mommy came to the precinct and they laughed at her arthritic knees and the cane she was leaning on holding the Bible, they said he would never be anything. And mommy said, I'm just going to pray. Just going to pray. And so when you see that same police department that beat us. Then I was able to come in and become a captain and watch my mother watch me go from breaking the law to enforcing the law, then became state senator and wrote the law, and then went on to become the first black borough president, and then became the mayor of the city of New York. Come on. Come on. Come on. And you get, and I know Ross can identify this. I know he can identify this. Then you get people who see where you are, and they act like that's who you are. And they want to rewrite your history. They want to act like you just popped on the scene. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I've been doing this for so long. And 30-something years ago, brother, 30-something years ago, when it first came into my heart, God said, you're going to be mayor January 1st, 2022. Me, broken, David. That's right. David. You know, David. Out of all the others who were so prominent, God spoke to David. And God is speaking to you. And many of you feel where you are is who you are. God said, I'm going to take this perfectly imperfect, broken person and elevate him not to be the mayor of a small town and village somewhere. He said, I'm going to elevate him to be the highest position in mayoralty on the globe. Because he wanted to tell the brothers who's in Rikers Island right now, where you are is not who you are. Your mayor was in jail. That's right. Wow. He wants to tell those with learning disabilities right now who are stumbling over the words and have ADD and can't sit still or have dyslexia, where you are is not who you are. Your mayor has a learning disability. Wow. He wanted to tell the brothers who are in homeless shelters right now, because you're in a homeless shelter, because you're in a domestic violence situation with your family members, that's not who you are. He's saying to you that where you are is not who you are. I elevated this brother so you can see that you have a perfectly imperfect person that can reach a perfect level of where he wants you in your life. You just got to believe. Because God is not going to tweet you and Google you and Instagram you. He's going to speak to your heart. And if you don't listen to him, don't blame God. Blame yourself. That's it. Listen, let me tell you something, man. I've been through some stuff. And going through some stuff. Going through some stuff. But my faith today is stronger than it was years ago. Woke up a couple of years ago when I was finishing I think it was my first term as borough president. Couldn't see the alarm clock. Thought it was sleep in my eyes. And as the day went on, I realized, wait a minute, something's going on. And brothers, you got to drag us to the hospital. We're not trying to sit up in no doctor's office having us poke us and prod us, So let me get to the doctor. I was feeling the pain in my stomach. I thought it was colon cancer because it didn't move. It wasn't gas. It wasn't moving around. It was a sharp pain. I said, let me go see what this is. Doctor put me under sedation, checked my stomach, checked my colon. When I came under sedation, he says, you have an ulcer. You have a severe ulcer. But your real problem is your diabetes. He said, you're going to lose your sight in a year. You're going to lose some fingers and toes. Blood pressure was high. Cholesterol was high. I had the black package. Doctor told me, I went into the doctor's office, brothers, with no medication. He gave me 2 medications for my diabetes, including insulin. Gave me metformin. He gave me statin. He gave me all of these drugs. I walked out of that doctor's office with no medication, walked out feeling like I was Dwayne Reed or Rite Aid. I had so many darn pills and injections. And I remember him giving me a pamphlet, Living with Diabetes. And I got home that day and I did something scientific. I went to the computer and Googled. One word change. I've typed in not living with diabetes. I typed in reversing diabetes. One word that was on my heart. That's, instead of saying living with it, think about reversing. And all this information came up about reversing diabetes. And all of these different doctors, one of them was a man named Dr. Esselton. He was at the Cleveland Clinic. I cold called him because I was desperate. I said, doctor, they tell me I'm going to lose my sight. And he said, fly down to see me. I flew down to see him, and he had a whole presentation about reversing chronic diseases, heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, without medicine, but with food. And I remember talking with him, and he's telling me what I need to eat. And I was saying to myself, man, what is wrong with this food, man? I'm losing my sight, and he's telling me about fried chicken? But desperation is inspiration. And I went home that day, and I looked into my cupboards and my fridge, and I started listening to what he was saying, and I was looking at what was on the back of the boxes and what was my diet. And I said, wow. So I have to try this. And let me tell you something, brothers. There was a man who was there who was 80-something years old. We sitting there waiting for the doctors. And this man is talking about his love life. And how, let's say, active his love life was. And I'm like saying, what? I want me a shorty at 80-something too. And so what Dr. Esselton explained to me, that when you clog your arteries, like your heart, that's an indicator of the clogging of all of your arteries. It's not just your heart artery. So putting in that stent, your entire system is being clogged. And the smallest vein and artery on your body is a male sexual organ. So ED is early detection that something is going on with your body. So instead of having the blue pill, get yourself some green broccoli. You know what I'm saying? Don't cover up the problem and feed the symptoms. Go to the underlying cause. And I'm probably saving some marriages right now. So what happened? What happened? I decided to go to a whole food plant-based diet. 3 weeks. My vision comes back. 3 months, the nerve damage in my hands and feet goes away. I don't even know when the ulcer went away. It just went away. My blood pressure normalized. My cholesterol normalized. I dropped 30-something pounds. I don't have a six-pack. I have a case. My body's tight. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I get up in the morning, get out of the shower, look in the mirror, and I'm like, damn. You know? And nothing is better than taking off your clothes. I don't care what your lady feel about it. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about being 63 and your body is still tight? Come on. And nothing is better looking than a brother that's tight. Your clothing fit right. You walk differently. You have this feeling of confidence. That's why the New York Times write articles about how I dress, because I wear my stuff. I wear my stuff. You know what I'm saying? I wear my stuff. You remember the days? Go look back at our fathers and our uncles. They used to be sharp all the time. They would take the time to make sure their stuff was tight. That's why they planted inside of us, making us droop our pants and walk in a certain way. You never saw that. Never. Everywhere you saw them, they were tight. They didn't care how bad life may have been. Their presentation was tight. And that's why when I'm standing up in representation of where I came from and who I used to see and how they represented themselves. And so I'm saying to you, brothers, they told you that it's in your DNA. Mommy was diabetic. Her sisters and aunties were diabetic, heart disease. Mommy transitioned from heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, all of those diseases that we all know. They made us believe that it was all in your DNA. What's your DNA, brothers? It was your dinner. Right. That's right. You are not connected or related to the person who lived next door. You didn't share the same DNA, but you shared the same dinner. We all ate the same things. And so because we all ate the same things, we all had the same chronic diseases. And I'm not asking you overnight. In fact, all I'm doing is sharing information. I'm not looking down will eat something and say, Eric, you know you should not have eaten that. So that's not what I'm saying to you. I'm giving you the information.